or did I fix it? I picked Cocktail. That's right. Well, I didn't pick Cocktail. Dan the Man Master Shake picked Cocktail when we were talking about it because he's going to be a guest on one of our horror conversations episodes this year, where we are going to go off and we're going to talk about. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. We're going to talk about on 2 different episodes some fun horror things that are going on, and it's all brought to you by Carolina Fear Fest. So you guys know are one of our biggest supporters. We work with them. We represent the show when we're there. We do live streaming for them, panels, everything and more. It's a great time. It's every Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be doing that. So please jump on in. Let's have a good time with it. But all right, let me fix Cocktail from 1988, starring Tom Cruise, Brian Brown, Elizabeth Shue. There's Kelly Lynch was in it. Like, there's a lot of people in this movie. So basically what it takes place, Tom Cruise is going around New York City. He's looking for a job. He gets a job as a bartender. Now, he's never bartended before. He's new to it. He's coming in and he's really trying to hone the craft, and he gets picked up and mentored by Brian Brown's character, who you might remember from the FX movies from the 80s, fun little adventure movies, and you have a good time with. Well, he learns the craft. They're doing great. They're making tons of money. They have this whole plan to kind of go off and start their own bar and do their own thing and be bartenders and make tons of money down in, like, I think it was in Jamaica or something. They were looking for resort jobs down there, or to buy their own resort or something like that. So the problem with this movie, it's a fun movie. You get into it. It's a really fun movie, and it's not badly written or anything. It's very well acted for the 80s. The problem is it's so insane and absurd what we're getting into. So it's about bartenders essentially. And now listen, you can tell a lot of dramatic stories that take place in a bar. You can tell a lot of dramatic stories that bartenders go through. But it always seems to me like when like Cheers did it perfectly in a very great comedic twist. But it always seems like whenever you start putting a movie that takes place in a bar back in the 80s, everybody knows martial arts and it's crazy, or it's a murder mystery. This is basically what happens. Basically how it goes down in Cocktail. Cocktail, its biggest problem is it didn't know fully what it wanted to be. And I think that's where it suffered the most. It really needed to kind of hone in on what it wanted. So, like, you have a murder mystery going on. You have betrayal between friends and sleeping with the other's lover. You have an unexpected love interest step in and she gets pregnant and he has to make the decision. Does he want to still live in Jamaica and do this? Or is he going to go do the right thing and be with a woman? It's a pretty crazy, convoluted type of story. And I think that's how you fix it. Every aspect of the story is interesting, but you don't spend enough time on each aspect. You know, what happens with Brian Brown's character? What happens with the murder that happened on the boat? Yes, that is a thing. What happens with the betrayal of sleeping with each other's, betraying each other and sleeping with each other's lovers and stuff like that? And what happens with Elizabeth Shue and Tom Cruise's relationship, where she gets pregnant? She comes from a very wealthy family. They want him to have nothing to do with it, wants him to just go back down to Jamaica. We'll give you some money. And now he's got to deal with that. But it elongates this movie because it all happens at different points. Now, if you're telling the story of this guy's entire life bartending and you want to tell some crazy stories, there's better ways to do it than the way they do it here. Each thing acts like it's a domino knocking the next one over, but it feels like there's so many dominoes in between that don't fit in that bill or just weren't put down. So it's kind of like, what is happening? You know, you come to a halt on one and then it goes to here and it goes to here. You need to cut back on that. I think Cocktail would have been a really great story if you started out with these two guys who are bartending. They love it. One's mentoring the other. They're becoming great. They're becoming hot shots all over town. They're bartending in the biggest nightclubs and bars. And then you turn around and it comes back to all the little, extra parts that they put in. Like, I would have preferred, maybe they're doing this, they're hot shots, they're so close to buying the bar. They're getting ready. They're going to do it. He sleeps with Tom Cruise's girlfriend. Cut out the murder mystery aspect of it and where that all goes. He sleeps with Tom Cruise's girlfriend. Don't even introduce Elizabeth Shue like they didn't until he was in Jamaica. This causes him to quit it all behind because he's a hothead, goes down in Jamaica, decides to start bartending at this resort, and then you can continue on with the having the baby line, stuff like that. And then maybe have them come back together in the end, start the bar together and stuff like that. In a more reduced capacity. Because I think if you keep expanding on all this stuff and throwing in a wrench here, a wrench there, oh, this person, this turmoil, this, it just took too much away. I could say the same thing for like Studio 54. Studio 54 was also a very convoluted movie that told a lot of great stories, but it seemed like all of the great stories from Studio 54 they were trying to shoehorn into this movie. Now, going back to Cocktail, here's a story where you don't have a base like that, and I'm not comparing the two, trust me. But what I'm saying is, you don't have that base with this. You have to deal with it as you have to deal with what's ahead of you. Don't add more on. And that's just what they kept doing. So really, I don't think there's much to fix in Cocktail. I think you remove some certain aspects of it. And then you just stick to like a certain storyline. If you want it to be about the friends and the betrayal that happens, don't have him have this pregnancy come up where he has to deal with that. Make it about the friends. If you want that to be it, introduce her much earlier as a love interest. Maybe she goes away. He gets betrayed by his friend, goes down to Jamaica. She follows him down there as a resort, gets pregnant, realizes she can't be with him because he's just a bartender or whatever. Then you can add that because now you have that element in there. But they just didn't do it, and it really like flaked for me on that. So yeah, I think if you're going to fix this at all, you make it a fun movie the way it was, where it's just in the bar and they're having a great time. Then you add those little bits of drama, but don't add too much, which is what they did. And I think that's what really took away from the movie. Hopefully you guys think I fixed it. If you did sound off in the comments, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Or head over to our Discord. Check us out there. All the links are down below in the description if you're listening or you're watching. I want to say thank you guys for watching. And just really, let me know if you have any movies that you would like to see me fix. My only thing for it is it's got to be a studio movie. It's got to be an older movie. I'm going to go, let's stick with 10 years older or more now. Let's stick with that. So like, if you guys want to throw it at me, patrons get preferential treatment. Of course, if you send me anything, I will make sure your movie goes up first. So please just send me a message. Let me know what you think. All right. Well, let's get into it a little bit more. Jason's here. What's up?